The kris, or keris, is a traditional Indonesian dagger known for its distinctive wavy blade and spiritual significance. Here's a brief history of the kris. 1. The kris is believed to have originated in Java in the 9th century AD. Its design and craftsmanship have evolved over centuries, influenced by various dynasties and cultures, including Hinduism and Buddhism. 2. The kris is not just a weapon but also a symbol of spiritual power, social status, and cultural identity. It is often used in ceremonies, rituals, and traditional dances. 3. Creating a kris involves a complex process of forging and spiritual rituals. The blade is typically made from layers of different metals, which are folded and forged together. The pattern on the blade, known as pamor, is created through this layering process. 4. The kris is deeply embedded in Javanese and Balinese cultures. It is often passed down as a family heirloom and is believed to possess magical properties. Each kris is unique, with specific meanings and powers attributed to its shape, pattern, and the materials used. 5. Today, the kris remains an important cultural artifact in Indonesia. It is recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. The kris is still made by traditional artisans, known as empu, who follow ancient techniques. 6. Empu Basuki Tega Yuwono is one of the notable contemporary kris makers, preserving the traditional craftsmanship while adapting to modern times. The kris is a testament to Indonesia's rich cultural heritage, blending artistry, spirituality, and history in a single, iconic artifact. The philosophy of the Indonesian kris, keris, is deeply intertwined with the cultural, spiritual, and social fabric of Indonesian society. Here are some key aspects. 1. Symbol of power and authority. The kris has traditionally been a symbol of power and authority. It was often used by kings, nobles, and warriors as a status symbol. The possession of a kris indicated one's rank and social status within the community. 2. Spiritual significance. The kris is considered to possess spiritual energy, known as IC. This energy is believed to be imbued into the kris during its creation by the empu, kris maker. The process of forging a kris involves various rituals and offerings to invoke protective and beneficial spirits. As a result, each kris is thought to have its own spirit and power, capable of providing protection, luck, and prosperity to its owner. 3. Connection to ancestors. Kris are often passed down through generations as family heirlooms. They serve as a connection to one's ancestors, carrying their spirit and blessings. This ancestral connection reinforces the kris's role in preserving family lineage and heritage. 4. Symbol of harmony and balance. The design and construction of a kris embody the principle of harmony and balance. The intricate patterns and shapes of the blade, handle, and sheath reflect the belief in the interconnectedness of all things. This philosophy emphasizes the importance of maintaining balance in one's life, community, and relationship with nature. 5. Moral and ethical values. The stories and legends associated with the kris often convey moral and ethical values. For instance, tales of heroic deeds and sacrifices made by kris-wielding warriors serve as moral exemplars, promoting virtues such as bravery, loyalty, and honor. 6. The kris is a significant element of Indonesian cultural identity. It represents the rich history and diversity of Indonesian culture, with each region having its own unique styles and variations. The kris's recognition by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity underscores its cultural importance. 7. Artistry and craftsmanship. The process of making a kris is considered an art form. The empu, or kris maker, is highly respected for their skill and knowledge. The meticulous craftsmanship involved in creating a kris reflects the value placed on artistry and the transmission of traditional knowledge. In summary, the philosophy of the Indonesian kris encompasses a blend of spiritual beliefs, cultural identity, ethical values, and artistic expression. It is a symbol of power, protection, and heritage, embodying the profound connection between the material and spiritual worlds in Indonesian culture. The Indonesian keris has been recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. This recognition highlights the cultural and historical significance of the kris within Indonesia and beyond. Here's a detailed look at the relationship between the Indonesian kris and UNESCO. 1. UNESCO Recognition. In 2005, UNESCO designated the Indonesian kris as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. This recognition aims to raise awareness about the cultural importance of the kris and ensure its preservation for future generations. 2. Cultural heritage. The designation by UNESCO underscores the kris's role as a vital part of Indonesia's intangible cultural heritage. The kris is more than just a weapon, it is a symbol of cultural identity, social status, and spiritual beliefs, deeply embedded in Indonesian traditions and practices. 3. UNESCO's recognition has helped promote efforts to preserve the traditional craftsmanship of kris making. This includes supporting the kris makers, who possess the specialized knowledge and skills required to create kris. It also involves documenting and safeguarding the rituals, stories, and cultural practices associated with the kris. 4. The UNESCO designation encourages educational initiatives to inform both Indonesians and the global community about the cultural significance of the kris. This includes exhibitions, workshops, and cultural programs that highlight the artistry, history, and spiritual meaning of the kris. 5. By recognizing the kris, UNESCO acknowledges the rich cultural diversity within Indonesia. Each region in Indonesia has its own unique styles and variations of the kris, reflecting the country's diverse ethnic and cultural heritage. The recognition helps celebrate this diversity on an international stage. 6. Economic impact. The UNESCO recognition has also had a positive economic impact, boosting cultural tourism and supporting local artisans. Increased interest in the kris has led to a greater demand for traditionally crafted kris, providing economic opportunities for kris makers and their communities. 7. Global awareness. The recognition by UNESCO has brought global attention to the kris, promoting understanding and appreciation of Indonesian culture. It has encouraged cross-cultural dialogue and exchange, fostering greater respect for intangible cultural heritage worldwide. In summary, the recognition of the Indonesian kris by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity highlights its cultural, historical, and spiritual significance. This designation has played a crucial role in preserving and promoting the kris, ensuring that its legacy continues to be celebrated and appreciated both within Indonesia and around the world.